Welcome to another video. In this video we'll talk about checkbox and we'll give you an overview on the checkbox. So there are a few use cases here to a checkbox. You can use it to obviously check checkboxes in Salesforce. That's one option. The other option is you can bring back multiple pick lists from Salesforce into a checkbox and then choose one of them. Another is you can use it for static pick list as well. That's also a possibility if you want. And yeah, it keeps going. You can also use it for a multi-select. So I'm going to try and run these scenarios for you so you get a good understanding. To access the checkbox, click on the gear icon, sorry, the plus icon, and then go over to Input. And then there it is, check, it's called. Drag it over. Alright, so this field here is a single checkbox because single value is checked. When this is checked, it's just a single value. So let's say I call this for, in Salesforce, I've got a checkbox here called has support plan. So what we'll do is we'll check that. We'll call this has support plan. And there's tons of stuff you can do here. You can have this automatically checked as the default value, or obviously you can uncheck it. All right. And yeah, here you configure the interactivity, the Salesforce, conditions, value rules, animation, metadata. And if you want to style it, you go to the styling menu and go on from there. So that's the single selection option. Let's talk about static. So we'll go over here, bring another checkbox over, and let's say I wanted to create one of the pick list here, which is prospect rating. Okay, so we'll go over here and we'll say static values, and you can display them horizontally or vertically. It's really up to you. So we'll call this account rating, and I'm going to give it some values. Okay, so we'll say hot, cold, hot, warm, cold. There you go. Now these are what we call front end values. All right, that's what we call them, the front end values, and you can even set default for any one of them if you wish. Now the back end values normally will be the same as the front end values, but sometimes it can change. So you can specify them here. So for example, in the front end value, I can just call this sizzling hot, something like that. And then we can say, I don't know, for warm, I suppose I can, I don't know, I'm just trying to think. We'll say summer warm. And then we'll say winter cold. All right, so these are like front end values. These are, I'm not necessarily going to push these to Salesforce, but I do want to push these to Salesforce, because if I try to push these into Salesforce, they won't be accepted. So that's like a good scenario to think from. So look, like I've got this here, all right? So that's what we call static values. Now let's talk about dynamic in checkbox. So we'll go over to Input, and we'll say check again. And this time, this one will be called account type. And then we can go dynamic values. So here, I'm going to just go into account and pull back account type. All right, so now it's dynamic. I'm just going to quickly give it a tag as well. It's very important. Here in the metadata. And then we'll do this one as well. Now, notice this. So if I go over here, and what we'll do is move this stuff here. On the left hand side, so you guys can see it. And I'm just going to increase the size of this as well. And then once it's done, let's go ahead and show you. So if I preview this now, you can see that that's fine. That was already there. This is my static value, all right, and these are my these are my static value, and these are my dynamic values right here. All right, so I can choose any one of them or all of them. If it's multi-select, you can use all of them, but if it's one of them, use one of them. All right, so that's essentially how you would do it. Now, it's very, very important that you're able to push these through into Salesforce. So I will show you how to do it now. Right, to push this into Salesforce, what we need to do, we need to go over to our Salesforce push here, and we're going to create an account. We're going to map our fields. So name, we'll go to name. Type, we'll go to type. Now here, obviously remember we set up static, these were dynamic, so it doesn't matter either one. But the one that I want to focus on is the account rating. So let's focus on our prospect rating, that's it. And the prospect rating, we gave it a lot of front-end values. So what we want to do is, our front-end values were summer warm, winter cold, and sizzling hot, right? These were the front-end values. So here, you will find that you got the label, which is the front end. We want to give it the back end because that's what's going to accept. So that's something to be mindful of. And then once you've done that, close, click on the button here, and then adjust the interactivity, which is going to be on click action. I'm going to run our push, go ahead, click apply, save, and preview. All right, we'll call this one checkbox account. It does have a support plan. It is sizzling hot, so the backend value should be hot, and then we'll call it a prospect. Now let's go ahead and create this account. Right, let's see in the integration logs the story. All right, the account's been created. I'll go over in there now. And then as you can see, checkbox account, customer account, and then there is the prospect rating, hot, and our support plan. Just need to give it a refresh here. As you can see, the checkbox is checked as well, and it's all good to go. So that's how you do a checkbox, and the 3 different versions that are available within the checkbox.